All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you. This is our afternoon session of Q&A with our coaches and student athletes, and so happy to be joined now by the Texas Longhorns. Preseason pick second behind Iowa State in this year's poll. They come off a season where they were 13-5 last year in the Big 12, 29-7 overall. The 2022 Big 12 tournament champions and an Elite Eight appearance in the NCAA. Coach Schaefer, Vic Schaefer, is third year at Texas, and he has brought three outstanding student athletes with him today. Sophomore Rory Harmon, junior Shay Holly, and sophomore Aaliyah Moore. Welcome, you guys. Coach, I'm going to start with you. It is hard to replace experience and leadership on a roster. I know you had some fantastic young women on your squad last year that really filled that role for you on and off the court. But the portal can be a place where you can fill, and you can fill it fast. And I know that you have found some experience and some leaders there in transfers coming to your roster. Can you talk a little bit about some of those? And one of the people that I am most interested to watch in your system is Shaylee Gonzalez, who's coming to you from BYU.
Yeah, so we signed 54 points and 27 rebounds out of the portal. I've said this a bunch. I think that's got to be a record. Four young ladies, really special. And really have come in, and I think these three would tell you they fit. You know, we pride ourselves on recruiting to a fit, and man, they're really great folks, great people. They've helped us change our culture and make it even better, and so they're wonderful young ladies. And you know, Sonia from DePaul and Shaylee from BYU, both kids that averaged 18 points a game. And Sonia's really the only senior we have. She's the only one on paper that won't be back next year. So we're still a really young team. Taylor from Oregon State hardly played last year, had shoulder labrum surgery. I think she played 8 games. And then Hattie had the same issue with a labrum issue. So the problem that we have is that we weren't able to work those kids out this summer. We didn't get any of them really here. And so what we've had is 12 practices with them. So as good as they are on paper, and I think that's part of the reason, along with these young ladies, why people across the country think so highly of us. But we got to go live it. You don't win games on paper. I've won a lot of games playing them that on paper we weren't supposed to win. And so we've got to go live it, and I think that's the challenge with this group. But we're fortunate. And then the 2 freshmen that we have that are going to play, Jakalinga, who was Gatorade Player of the Year out of South Dakota, and Amina Muhammad, who played at DeSoto in back-to-back state championship teams. Those 2 young ladies bring a real standard of excellence as well. So, and they're going to play. All 6 of those kids are going to play this year.
You talk about standard of excellence. I know maybe one of the last times when you guys were in Kansas City was celebrating a championship and a Big 12 tournament hardware that you took back to Austin. How do you take that type of success, allow it to carry over, and really give this new group that sense of what it takes to win a championship?
Well, the good news is these 3 did it, and we're part of the team that accomplished it, and they know what it took to do that. Really hard. Beat a heck of a basketball team in Baylor, well coached, 2 pros, and just it took an extremely good effort by us, but they've lived it. They know what it takes. They went to the Elite Eight last year, and so they have a real understanding of the demands and what it takes to be a championship basketball team. And so when I'm trying to impart that to them in practice, they usually have a pretty good understanding, because they understand, they've had to do it before and they lived it and know it's not easy. And we've stubbed our toe before too. Last year we were having a little hard luck and not playing well, and we had to fix it, and they fixed it. And so that's what's encouraging for me. I mean, these kids we have a good time. They're fun to be around. I really enjoy our time on and off the court, but when they're on the court, they know when the lights come on, they know what to do.
All right, so I'm going to go to these three. We'll start with Rory. Rory, the 2022 Big 12 Freshman of the Year and a unanimous preseason All Big 12 selection this season. It seems as though Coach looks to you to set the tone. Last year, you seem to have an energy tank that never gets low. How do you channel that and harness that to be effective on both ends of the floor?
I mean, it's just something we work on in practice. I mean, we come every day, and our goal is to stack days and win practice every time we come in. And I was really focused on just being that point guard, knowing I had to step up as a freshman, and knowing that my teammates looked up to me, so I can set the tone in the games on offense and defense. But you know, Coach Schaefer loves his defense, and I do too. And that's part of the reason why I came to Texas, because I know he has so much passion behind just playing defense. And I mean, defense is just all heart to me, and I feel like defense wins games. So.
Well, that leads me to my next question, and I'm going to bounce this one to Shay. And for all of you that haven't seen it yet, there's a video out on Twitter of Coach drawing a charge in practice, stepping into a defensive drill, taking a charge, bouncing up, and headed to the next one. So it seems to me that the message is, if you're not willing to defend and get in there and play hard, you're going to have a hard time finding some playing time at Texas. How does that kind of competitiveness in practice help you guys set the tone in games?
Yeah, I mean, you play how you practice. So I think that's always our goal, is we need to show Coach how we can play defense in practice if we want him to have confidence in us on the court. So, yeah, taking charge is a big part of that. I think all of us can attest to that. If you're there, you better take the charge. But, yeah, I think it's just really important to come in every day and practice locked in. We have so many good players that you do have to compete every single day in practice. You can't just be ready on game days, because practice is a competition too. So I think that's a really important part of our team.
Well, I guess, how did you feel after you stepped in and took that charge? You feel all right?
I've been wondering why my neck's been bothering me. Now that you mention it, I remember doing that, and that might be the case. I just thought I slept wrong.
That happens. It happens to the best of us. All right, Aaliyah, I know you were hampered by injury part of last season, but it seemed like you really kind of came into your own as the Big 12 and tournament time came around, and that Elite Eight as well. What have you focused on individually to kind of elevate your game from year one to year two?
Yeah, I have definitely focused on being in the best shape possible that I can. I definitely had a pretty good off season, was in the gym a lot. Injury did kind of hold me back, but I would like to say, there's no highs without any lows. And so I'm just really excited for this year. I know we've all been putting in work. I've been putting in work, and just really excited to play.
That's fantastic. Rory, would you look at your game and say, you know what? You know that there's always going to be a challenge from your coaches and from your teammates to get better. What did you focus on in the offseason the most to bring to the floor this second year of the Big 12?
I've been trying to focus on my leadership a little bit, just stepping up. I know I had to do that as a freshman as well, but just improving in that aspect as well. And then, focusing on some of my offense and getting stronger, getting ready to take on these bigger guards that I'll probably have to take on in every team. I'm pretty small, but that doesn't really stop me from a lot of things. So,
well, I would say small but mighty, and that's
Yes.
not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. All right, Coach, you can look at both the non-conference, you can look at how you schedule to how to get ready, but then when you stare down the gauntlet of the Big 12, 2022 to 23, what does this conference look like to you, and how do you get this team prepared as you think about January?
Well, first of all, our league is a monster. When it comes to women's basketball, I mean, there's so many good teams. Everybody's well coached. But we have some teams in this league, I was just talking about it, like I got 2 sophomores and a junior up here. Like, there's teams in this league that have 6th-year seniors, 5th-year seniors, regular seniors. I mean, they're senior-laden teams. Oklahoma, Baylor, Kansas, Iowa State, those teams are all old, veteran teams. And there's such a value to that. Like, it's some of those teams, there'll be kids that have played 2 and 3 times as many games as Rory and Amo and Shay. So you know, those teams, what I say that to say this, our league is so good. You know, Hall of Fame coaches every night, but the teams are going to be so good and so competitive. And, you know, every night, 1 through 10, if you're not ready to play, you won't get beat, you'll get embarrassed. And so I think our kids experienced that last year. They know if they're not ready, they're going to get beat. And so I know for these three, I probably won't have to spend too much time on them. Again, when you got this on your chest or Texas, it doesn't matter if you're playing hopscotch or jacks on the sidewalk. Whoever you're playing against, they want to beat the crap out of you. So we've had to really learn to embrace that and understand that concept. And so it's if you can get that and understand that, the preparation piece then takes care of itself because you have great focus. And so our challenge is we got 7 new players, 6 are going to play. Well, they haven't been down that gauntlet. They don't know. And so I'll have a little help getting them ready. And at the same time, we have nothing but respect and admiration because we know what the league's like. And, man, it's really good. I mean, you can take some teams in our league and go against anybody in the country. I like our chances. I don't care where we're playing them. I mean, we're that good. I think our league is. And, again, just we'll have to every night, you better be ready to go because it's a nightmare of a league.
Yeah, there's not going to be too many off nights for anybody. Now, if anyone out there, I just want to remind you, if anyone has a question, please raise your hand. I've got Rachel and Christopher, and they have a microphone. I do know that you all have a new home of Texas basketball. So, Shay, I would ask you just sort of what is it like to be in a new arena down there on campus? And what has that experience been like for all of you, just getting a chance to see it in practice there, knowing games will be a whole new ballgame?
Yeah, it's definitely very different. Growing up in Austin, not playing in the Drum is definitely an adjustment, but the Moody Center is amazing. Like, we all knew it was going to be nice, but it's even nicer than expected. I think all of us would say that. So we got to practice in there for a week, and then also our new practice facility. And it's going to be really exciting to see fans in there. It's so nice. I think everyone will enjoy the experience, not just us.
Well, that'll be a welcome environment for all of the other Big 12 opponents, even though I know you're going to want to make it a really tough place to play. Right? All right. Well, I want to thank all of you very much for joining us here to start this portion of our afternoon with our Q&A of our coaches and student athletes. Next up is Oklahoma State. They will be with us in just a few moments. Thank you, Coach Schaefer. Thank you, ladies, and best of luck all season long.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.